Hey Ghoul Gang, Connor from Unleash the Ghouls here, and I'm back for another Doctor Who Nightmare Fuel. I really enjoy doing the Doctor Who stories for Nightmare Fuels from time to time, so if you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. Today though, I'm hopping in the TARDIS and going back to the opening story of Season 13, a serial that introduced one of the show's most iconic villains, Terror of the Zygons. Now, the Zygons have appeared numerous times in the new series, returning in the Day of the Doctor, which, to be honest, I thought was a really weird choice for a 50th anniversary episode. And they also had a two-part stint against the 12th Doctor, the Zygon Invasion and Inversion, where they were symbolically utilised as a commentary on refugees, terrorists and warmongers. Not a great story, but it did lead to one of Capaldi's best scenes. You know the one. However, I've never felt that the Zygons had any fear factor behind them in their new series guises, and that is something that Terror of the Zygons got oh so right. Here we are with the 4th Doctor, Sarah Jane and Harry up in Bonnie, Scotland, investigating a series of oil rigs being destroyed and a potential Loch Ness Monster on the loose. Check out Stu's urban legend on Nessie for more info there. But these bizarre goings on catch the interest of the Doctor and unit. The rural Scottish setting, secluded location, obscure characters and mystery give it an almost Wicker Man aura in parts. But the richest layer of atmosphere comes from the original music. Composed by Jeffrey Bergen, the score is creepy and unsettling. It has a haunting quality that thickens the dread in the air. I wish Bergen did more music for the show. Sadly, the only other story he composed was The Seeds of Doom, also written by the same writer as Terror of the Zygons, Robert Banks Stewart. For the record, Seeds is my favourite Doctor Who story of all time, by the way, and it's such a shame that the combination of Stewart and Bergen only spanned 2 stories that bookended Season 13. But alas, the impression they left with Terror of the Zygons has lasted for decades. Let's dig a little deeper. A lot of the disturbing scenes within this series come from the fact the Zygons are shapeshifters, and so we mostly see them in human form acting really strangely. And this even impacts our main characters, as Harry is at one point imitated by a Zygon. Ian Marter is a lovable klutz as Harry, bumbling around with a heart of gold. So to see him here with evil in his eyes, going at Sarah with a pitchfork in a dark, dingy barn, that is a tonal imbalance that really frightened a lot of kids in 1975. Speaking of tonal imbalance, yes, we get some jovial moments early on with the Doctors and Brigadier's costumes, but this story doesn't go down the kid-friendly route. Only 15 minutes into the story, we see an innocent man shot and killed by a sniper while Harry takes a shot to the head. Luckily, the bullet only grazes him, but Jesus, that's some position for a kid to be in, seeing one of their heroes potentially have their heads blown off. And that's the flavour of Terror of the Zygons. It all feels very adult and a bit like a British sci-fi horror B-movie. But that means, of course, we need some monsters, and the Zygons are immense in this department. Although they garnered the reputation of looking like orange jelly babies, these suckers don't mess around with their... suckers. The costumes are fantastic for the 70s BBC budget and are one of the show's most iconic threats ever. It's no wonder why they remain so popular all the years leading up to their revival, despite only appearing on screen in this one story. The Zygons are very whispery creatures, making them sound like an ASMR torturer. And not only is that mega cool, but it's chilling too.
What are you? I am Proton, warlord of the Zygons.
The Zygons are like stealth operatives. Not only can they disguise themselves as anyone they like, but even in their original state, they're quiet as a mouse. And that just gives them an unforgettable nightmarish presence. But I'll tell you what isn't quiet, the Scarasan. Look at the state of this thing. This is the personal pet of the Zygons that's been mistaken for Nessie, and to be honest, it looks pretty laughable. Breaks a bit of the horror mystique in the story, but nevertheless it's memorable. It does shift the story from an almost Invasion of the Body Snatchers type film into a roaming monster film akin to The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. And that's the chunk of the story that I'm the least interested in, and it's also the least scary. The scariest parts here for me all come from the Zygons in their human forms acting otherworldly. Everyone has a pale, blank, emotionless face, and the blackest eyes, the devils. Hang on, wait, sorry, that's Halloween. But the point still stands. It's this distinct lack of humanity that makes them all the more alien. I mean, by definition, that sentence makes total sense, irrespective of me trying some clever wording, but it definitely describes the Zygons and how they're utilised here. And combining the human and monster forms can knock out some deadly combos. Perhaps the most memorable cliffhanger in the story that uses both forms to perfection is at the end of episode 1. We see the nurse who's tending to the injured Harry. Sarah tries to get some information from Harry, but he passes out, and she leaves to call the doctor. While on the phone, the nurse eerily smirks and stares at Harry, and then the next time we see her...
Do you think Harry's still in danger from something?
This is a proper jump scare for a kid's show, truly startling and well executed. But it's not just the jumps Terror has to offer, there's some downright oddities too. Like the scene where the doctor hypnotizes Sarah, the whole scene focuses on continuous shots of their eyes before the doctor beckons aloud like the aforementioned body snatchers. The sequence is mega trippy and dreamlike in execution. The fourth Doctor overall in this story feels more alien than ever, and Tom Baker delivers yet another stalwart performance. Terror of the Zygons winds up being one of the show's most chilling serials. It has shades of the mystery genre, body horror, giant monster, and plenty of eerie moments made better by spine-tingling incidental music and a rich, isolated atmosphere. It's no wonder why this story made the Zygons one of Who's greatest adversaries, and in future I'd love to see them done with this level of horror again. Terror of the Zygons is a lovely big dose of nightmare fuel. Or is it? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and I'll see you around for another bout with Doctor Who down the line somewhere in space and time. I've been Connor from Unleash the Ghouls. Yeah, that joke worked out better on paper. In a bit,